change has been made to clause 3.12.5.7 in volume 1 to allow domestic swimming pools to be heated by a wider range of heating systems. The types of heaters now permitted include a solar heater using reclaimed energy, a gas heater, a heat pump, or a combination of all of these. This range of permissible heaters reflects those allowed for swimming pools associated with Class 2 to 9 buildings and spa pools that share a water reticulation system with a swimming pool associated with a Class 1 building. The range of heating systems for domestic swimming pools has increased to reflect those currently available for Class 2 to 9 buildings, which recognises that there's a lot of circumstances where there is little room available for solar heating. Previously, this wasn't considered a problem for houses. However, with the uptake of solar panels, means that there is less room on roofs now for solar heating. So this required consideration of alternative heating sources. The new provision also required a cover and time switch to be provided where some or all of the heating is by gas or by heat pump. Another change to the BCA also sees a requirement for swimming pools and spas to be separated to simplify the application of the requirements and to provide consistency with that of Volume 1. As a result, requirements for spa pools that share a water filtration system with a swimming pool are now included in a new 3.12.5.8. These requirements are essentially the same as those that were in BCA 2013, except the heater using reclaimed energy can now be used. In Volume 2, Table 1.1, the defined term designed wind speed has been amended to prevent misinterpretation following instances where practitioners interpreted that non-cyclonic wind categories were equivalent to cyclonic wind categories. This often occurred with wind classes N4 and C2 due to both wind classes having equivalent design gust wind speeds. However, this is far from the case. In order to calculate a wind force on a structure or a building element, a series of factors needed to be applied to the design gust wind speed. Once these factors have been applied, the cyclonic class C2 can have an ultimate state wind pressure up to 40% higher than that of the non-cyclonic class N4, so therefore they are far from equivalent. To remove the potential for misinterpretation, Table 1.1 has been restructured and amended to rename it as wind classes and to remove any reference to equivalency. BCA 2014 sees an editorial change in both Volume 1 and 2 relating to the terminology used in the provisions for termites. Specifically, this change has replaced all references to termite barrier with a reference to a termite management system. The purpose of this change is to reflect changes proposed as part of a review of the AS 3660 suite of standards and to reflect the wider range of physical and chemical options available for managing termites.
My name is Catherine Kohler and I'm one of the technical advisors at the VBA. I work directly with Peter, and as you can tell, Peter's voice has given up the ghost, so I'll continue on with the second half. This is my first presentation of this series, and it's been a while since I've done one, so I apologise if I'm a bit rusty. If I speed up, just drop your hands down like this and I'll slow up so everyone can understand. Now we'll continue on. The next changes to the BCA is part 3.5.3, hardboard wall cladding. To reflect the changes in industry, part 3.5.3 of BCA Volume 2 has been amended in BCA 2014 to include new deemed to satisfy provisions for hardboard wall cladding, such as hardboard wall cladding boards shown on the left and hardboard sheet wall cladding shown on the right. Whilst a commonly used material, the introduction of these new deemed to satisfy provisions will negate the need for an alternative solution to to be developed to allow hardboard wall cladding to be used. As part of incorporating the changes to Part 3.5.3, some improvements were made to the format of the part to improve the usability of the provisions. The format of these new deemed to satisfy provisions are essentially the same as the current requirements for fibre cement and plyboard, in that they refer to an Australian standard for the product's manufacturing requirements, and they contain fixing requirements for their installation. As part of the new deemed to satisfy provisions, AS/NZS 1859, reconstituted wood-based panels, Part 4, wet processed fibreboard, has been referenced for the first time. This standard includes manufacturing design requirements for hardboard, which is permissible for use in external or exterior applications. As with the current requirements for fibre cement wall cladding boards, the new DTS provisions detail the specific fixing requirements for hardboard wall boards. Try and say that 10 times fast. This includes the type of fastenings to be used, maximum stud spacings, and minimum lapping requirements. For hardboard sheeting wall cladding, they too are required to be manufactured in accordance with AS/NZ 1859 Part 4. A new table, 3.5.3.3, specifies the fixing requirements, such as the type of fixings to be used, flathead nails or galvanised clouts, maximum stud spacings, and the maximum spacing of nails. Finally, I'll discuss a change that has been made to the guide at D1.6A to clarify that a path of travel to exits needs to provide a minimum unobstructed height of 2 metres, as well as complying with the minimum ceiling heights in Part F3.1. This means a path of travel to an exit must not have any projections such as cable trays or service pipes below 2 metres from the floor, and it must also comply with Part F3.1 and have a minimum ceiling height of 2.1 metres.